This is the instruction video for Pieface, which is in the end of the Magic Mega Disco. You have to do it at the end really, because there's not much more you can do after this because of the carnage that's left behind you, but you will be able to use your roll on table just to finish off with the rabbit in this situation. So for me personally, the last trick I've done before this will be the car racing trick, so that would have been done, and then you go straight into Pieface. These are the Piefaces. You'll see it all over the internet. They're run on a structure with numbers, so it's the same pattern over and over again. So with regards to this and the video that you're going to be playing, which looks like the spinny wheel, between the two of those you'll be able to make sure that the dad or the grown-up or the older brother, whoever it is always going to be the one that gets the pie in the face. So they're set accordingly. There's a sequence number which you'll be given on the box, and all you need to do is essentially make sure that dad's goes up after 7 and the children's they go up to 10, so they never go off. And with regards to the handle, they go forward like this, not backwards, and when the child goes for it for the first time, you have to stand with them and help them to go, show them which way to go forward, because for some reason they always want to go backwards, so just help them to go forward on the first one. But I'll show you that later on in the video. Lots of fun to have, it's brilliant. Once you get the grip of it, it is absolutely fantastic. I'll put this back. Now these live behind the bottom half of the Punching Judy booth. I always have the grown-up on the end here, so that's where the grown-up goes, and the children are on the other side. Now to begin with, what I used to do was put a chair for the adult, but actually over time I found that just isn't necessary. So you've just finished the car racing trick, and the next thing you have to do is get ready for Pieface. And the way I do it, I mean, it might be that you have a separate table with your Pieface already set up, and that's one way of doing it. If you're in a venue and there's a table, you can have a separate one. But I quite like it because the people are sat behind the Punching Judy booth, or kneeling behind, or standing behind, and it acts as a beautiful kind of box for them to sit in. And once it goes on things like, you know, Facebook and all that kind of stuff, it's a great advert for Mr. Marvel if you've got that rather than just a table. So when I've just finished the car racing trick, I want a few seconds just to be able to lie this bit down, you'll see what I'm going to do, and put the Piefaces up and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing is, you may well have a load of rubbish on here like magic wands, balloon pumps. My advice to you is, with the Magic Mega Disco, is to tidy up as you go along. I know we do generally, but especially with this, put everything into the bin as soon as you've used it, or it's the last time you're going to use it, and then you'll be much better off when you get to this situation. You haven't got to do too much tidying up. So in this situation, I would go, it's time for this. And while that music is happening, I would then lower this, and I'll put that one, and I've got my platform ready to do Pieface. I said, we're going to play Pieface, but today, we are not going to play Pieface with just one Pieface. We're not going to play with 2 Piefaces. We are going to play with 3 Piefaces. Right, now then, we need some people to come and play Pieface. Let me see. Right, well, we're going to have the birthday child. Up you come. George, you come and stand. You are going to be player number 1. Give George a big clap. There he goes. And George, he's standing there. There's no need to touch anything. Don't touch anything yet, George. Just stand nice and still. Don't touch anything. Brilliant. Let's see. Oh, Catherine, George's big sister. Come on, Catherine. Give Catherine a big clap. Catherine, you're going to be player number 2. Come and stand there. Now, we need somebody. Oh, don't touch anything yet, Catherine. Just stand nice and still. No need to touch. Because they will want to touch. So the idea is to make sure that they don't touch by telling them not to touch. And then we need somebody else. I think we've got to have Georgie's dad. Come on, Georgie's dad. Give Georgie's dad a really big clap here. Georgie's dad, you're going to be player number 3. Come and kneel behind here. Right, okay. First of all, we need some shaving foam. We need some pie, rather. Don't call it shaving foam. Call it pie. And we have pie. Here comes the pie. Now, I won't do it because it's a bit messy, but at this point, you put some pie on there and you can play a bit along with more than that, yeah, okay? And you put a little bit of that, and when it comes to the last one, I just put a tiny little blob on like that. And I say, is that enough? And they go, no, more! And then you could get a good pie about that high, and then it'll be really good when it finally splats him in the face. We've got our pies. Now, we need to play Pieface. Right, George, you're going to go first of all. Now, obviously, the television is not touch sensitive, there's nothing like that. All you have to do is push the fast forward button, it goes on to the next chapter, and play 1. Timing's almost perfect, but that's another screen you can use as well. So all I've got to do now is press forward. It will now come up, the player 1. I will pretend to spin the wheel. Now the television here is right behind the Punch and Judy booth. That is no good to you, mainly because they'll be stood behind there. So that is not where you'd have it. Under normal circumstances, this disco would be over here and the television would be standing about here with the end of it about there. And when they come in to do Pie Face, they walk in the other side to make sure they don't collide with the TV. Right, so what you've got to do is push the fast forward button on the remote control, and as you push it, you've got a few seconds, but get to the screen and just get the timing right, and it looks like you're spinning it round. There's actually a ting, you'll hear a ting when you've got to do it. Here we go. So look, so you're spinning it. Plan number 1. What number do we want? George, what number? It's a 3, George. Don't touch anything yet. Now you come over and you help George on the positive. So George, just hold it on the ends like that. That's it, good. And go forward. 1, 2, 3. You're safe, George. You let him do it, but obviously you showed what to do. Right, Catherine, let's see. You're player number 2. Here we go. Put your finger on the wheel and pretend to be spinning it. Here we go. What number's Catherine going to get? She's got just a 1 for Catherine. Right, Catherine, fingers on the end. Here she goes. She's safe. Right, here we go. Right, what number do you want for Dad? A 4? Okay, here we go. We want a 4. Say 4, 4. We want 4. Here we go. Was it going to be a 4, 4, 4, 4, 4? Just a 2 for Dad. Here he goes. 1, 2. He's safe. Yay! Right, okay. Back to George again. Here we go. George, you're player number 1. Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. What number do we want for George? What number do we want? It's A. Just a 2 for George. Here we go, George, you ready? 1, 2. He's safe. Well played. And now for Catherine. Let's see, what number do we want for Catherine? Here we go. We want a 1. 1, 1, 1. It's a 2 for Catherine. Here she goes. 1, 2. She's safe. Here we go. And it's Dad's turn. Here he goes. Let's see what number Dad's going to get. Here he goes. It's going to be a 4. Oh, a 3. Here goes Dad. 1, 2, 3. He's safe. Right, now there is now some kind of tension music on the next one. So it's quite clever done. If you can get the timing right, it's a miracle, but it doesn't usually work that well. Okay, George, player number 1. Here we go. Let's see what number we want for George. What number is he going to get? He's going to get just a 1 for George. It's the tension music. Oh, he's safe. Well played, George. Here we go, Catherine. Here we go. Let's see what she's going to get. It's going to be a 1. No, it's a 4. Oh, no, there she goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's safe. Oh, right, George's Dad. Here we go. Let's see what George's Dad. What do we want with a 4? Say, we want 4. We want 4. It's a 4. A 3. Here he goes. 1. Right, just so it is the next one. You want your finger on the fast forward button because as he turns the next one, it is going to pie him in the face. But I want the next track, which is happy. So you go. So he's turning. Don't forget, not me. They go 1, 2, pie in the face. Give them all a big clap. Now a tip here, the foam, if it gets everywhere, is an absolute nightmare. So at that point, all you do is make sure they don't touch anything. You get them all to go and sit down, you get them to go that way, and you stop George's dad from putting pie all over his daughter and son, and then they go and sit down again, and then you leave that all there while you do the rabbit. So you do the rabbit in front of it on the JoJo case. I wouldn't try to move it because it's such a faff. And then when it finally does come, they've all gone to have their food. What I do is I get the water jug from the water trick. So you've got the water in that jug, and take out the disc at the bottom, which will be in there, and then literally take these off and dip these into the water. And that bit normally gets a bit on it as well. Then take those into the kitchen, wash it on toilet, and wash it all out, and then bring the jug back. And then that is Pie Face. It's brilliant. It needs a bit of practicing, but it really is a brilliant end to the magic show, obviously bar the rabbit.